Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 224, I was very lucky to have, a pleasure to have, a joyful cricket on the podcast. She is a certified professional life and spiritual coach, inspirational singer-songwriter, musical director at Seek Sisterhood, and yes, she is the founder of Joyful Purpose Coaching. I've got to say, it was a joy to have her on. Too many joys in that sentence, but nevertheless, let's continue. Joy to have her on. We talked about many things, how she got started as a life and spiritual coach, what it's like to how she got into becoming her own very own business owner, and yeah, we talked about her life as a singer-songwriter as well. Many things more as well. And yeah, I got to say it was a joy to speak to her. So please sit back, enjoy the show, and yeah, we'll see you soon. See you later. Peace. Haha. Oh, do it. Yes. Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 224, I am very lucky, privileged to have Joyful Cricket on the podcast. Yes, she does not Mrs. Cricket, that's her mother. That's another story. But yes, she is a certified professional and spiritual coach, inspirational singer, songwriter, music director at Soul Seekers Sisterhood. And yes, she is the coach of Joyful Purpose Coaching. Well, founder, owner, like, yeah, CEO, the top dog. How are you today? Do I call you Joyful or do I call you Cricket? Which
You
one?
can call me Cricket. Thank you. I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I am happy to have you here. Now, look, it's it's not many a time I come across like someone named Cricket. Like, yeah, look, the only Cricket I know is guy called Jiminy, but he had a like wooden partner he went around with, and like, yeah, there was a whole long story, but we're not going to go into that right now. Mm-mm. No, but yeah, how like how did you come across the name Cricket? Were you born with this name, or did it like come to you on this journey of like voyage of discovery?
Okay, it came to me on a voyage of discovery. Get this from, and I don't actually share this detail that often, but there's just something about you that I just feel like I need to just pour my heart and soul and just be completely transparent here. So I first heard the name Cricket from a Jack in the Box commercial when I was about 12, maybe.
Yeah.
And I remember, you remember the Jack in the Box commercials with the big head, it was like a man with the big Jack in the Box head. Maybe you didn't have those in the UK.
Oh, like this is a thing, like, yeah, cultural reference, which like yeah,
Yeah.
like back then, not so long ago, yes, cultural references would be quite different. Now today, a cultural reference is a global thing, but not anymore. Well, not back then. Uh,
Yes.
the,
So
the very
Jack in the Box, it's fast food restaurant, right? And they had Jack was the like their spokesperson in maybe the like mid 2000s, and it was a man with a big white head that was like their logo, right? The Jack head, like Jack in the Box, I guess. So anyway, he's walking down the beach with his big Jack head and with his human body and this beautiful woman walking beside him, and he says, "This is my wife Cricket." And I looked at my mom and I said,
oh,
is that a real name? And she's like, yeah. So and look for a second. There you are. So I just that name always stuck with me. I just always thought it sounded so cool. And I'll tell you my given name, I never resonated with it, which is Karen, which one, it was out of date, and two, now with the memes going on and the Karen references, it's like even worse, right?
okay. Whoa.
So I always loved cricket. And so long story short, it became a nickname when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And then people just started kind of would hear like, oh, cricket. And they would just start calling me that because I don't identify with Karen. Like I'm not really Karen is definitely an older demographic typically. I was born in the 80s, so and then when I put out my first album in 2016, that was when I was like, okay, what do I want my stage name to be? What do I want my title to be? And so I decided to go with Cricket. And the joyfully part is purely because Cricket as a website, Cricket as a social media handle, I'm not going to get it. So my message is joy. So I'm joyfully Cricket.
Put it this way, if you manage to get Cricket as a website, I'll just simply say this to you: you must have 2 billion confused people like, how comes this is not like, where is like the wicket scores and like this? Yeah, there's like
Right.
1.2 billion Indian people are going, what the hell is this?
Who is this?
It's like going, yeah, you might get a fan base from there. That's another story, but yeah. So this is the thing, you started doing songwriting, and like you were a musician, but like how did you get from being a musician to becoming like a life and spiritual coach? This is like, it's a like musician, life and spiritual coach. Chalk and cheese, oil and water. It doesn't sound like it's a thing what truly mixes.
Well, what's really awesome is for all your listeners or viewers to recognize is that I believe everybody has their own unique gifts. And so when you look at what my gifts are, coaching, personal growth, spirituality, and music, and you see how I brought them together, just use that as a reference for yourself of how your unique gifts in you can be melded together to create some new thing that the world has never seen before. And that's when you find your purpose. That's when you find your passion. That's what I'm all about. So for me, music was just something I came out of the womb singing. So, started performing when I was in 4th grade at the talent shows. I did musicals all through school. I started playing guitar when I was about 16, and just songwriting since before I could even play an instrument. But I always tended to listen to like, folky stuff, but kind of like sad, depressing music. I loved Elliott Smith, Bright Eyes, like really heavy, sad music.
So you're an emo kid, a goth kid.
Yeah, well, a little bit. I was I dated all like the rocker guys. And I mean, I still loved Jewel and like Sarah McLachlan, but I would like rock out at some Alanis Morissette like I was like super angsty or something. And so I ended up marrying a musician when I was 18. And yeah.
Okay, how did that go?
Well, it didn't go great. I ended up putting my music really aside and kind of just focusing on him, giving him the spotlight. We were both really codependent, and he ended up passing away of a drug overdose when I was 20. And it was this pivotal point for me that completely changed the trajectory of my life. I remember the day he died, I kind of looked and I was like, okay, I have a really good excuse to really have an excuse to mess up my life and be depressed and go down that track, or I could make my life a positive result of his death so it wouldn't be in vain. I felt like I have a second chance. So I took the latter path, and I started really seeking spiritual concepts, personal growth. I just couldn't stop as a way probably really to cope. But I really did see it as a second chance to make my life a really positive thing, because for the years that he and I were married, it was really toxic, and I was not living joyfully. And I saw the dark side of that. It ended in him passing away. And so I ended up just totally becoming a seeker. And so, but the interesting thing was my music and my seeking wasn't quite matching up yet. So I ended up, after my husband passed away, just songwriting like these really heavy, dark songs about our failed relationship, his passing away, what I would say to him if I saw him again. And what happened, unbeknownst to me, was that was my grieving process. I was sitting with the emotions. I was bawling my eyes out as I was, writing these sad songs. And it really helped me to heal. And it showed me the power of music and creativity for healing, as well as what can happen when you actually sit with emotions as opposed to, ignoring them or not allowing yourself to feel them.
Mm.
And so, anyhow, probably 10 years passed where I was telling myself this story that I only write music when I'm sad. I only write depressing songs. I can't write a happy song. That's cheesy. And yet, I was studying the law of attraction. I was, creating this positive mindset for me. And I just realized there just was this disconnect. And I had a huge awakening at an Abraham Hicks seminar, which is all about the law of attraction and manifestation. And it's all stuff I'd heard before, but when you're just in the right moment to like, you hear something and the clouds, part, and you're just like, I get it. So I had this realization in the seminar that I could write positive songs, that I could create music however I wanted. It didn't have to be when I was in this dark place. And I went home and I wrote my first inspirational song. And that's when my songwriting really changed. And I just started writing from the place of my inspiration of my spiritual journey and my personal growth journey that I'd experienced. And I kind of left that dark, sad, depressing stuff behind a little bit. And long story short, that is what led to me becoming a coach, because then I learned I didn't have to just sing about people following their dreams. I could actually help them give them the tangible tools to do so.
Yeah, because like this is the thing. Like when you said you like, yeah, you were writing songs through the grieving process, but would you also say the songs you were writing were kind of like sort of self-reflective songs, like sort of having a sort of deeper look at what yourself? Because what I sometimes it's not I don't have anything against The Secret. It's like what a lot of people like go, I have my vision board and this and that. And like it's like go, okay, that's great. But have you done any sort of work on yourself? Have you actually looked at yourself? Take a look on the hood. Are you ready for this vision? I want to be a multi-millionaire. Yeah, okay, great. You want to be a multi-millionaire, big mansion, everything like this. But the amount of people you see get rich, lose it all and everything like that, was it a case of that musical like journey awakening, was that sort of self-reflection for you to get to that epiphanal point in your life?
Absolutely. So I'm hearing two parts of that. One, when I was writing through my grieving process, I absolutely was reflecting on how I contributed to the failure of my marriage and how I contributed to that relationship being toxic, as well as our family and friends around us. So that was definitely in my emotions, in some of the words that I wrote. And then the second part is when I started writing the inspirational songs, I had this, like I said, this epiphany that I could do it, but I still had that limiting belief that I could actually pull it off.
Mm.
Right. So it's almost like I had the vision board at the workshop. I had the clouds parted and I could see it. But then going to work and actually writing inspirational music and putting that out there and sharing that was a challenge for sure. And if you listen to my songs, I sing about, the beauty that you are, the love that you are, that you can achieve your dreams, that your dreams will only reach as far as your doubt. That's one lyric I have. I'm singing that to inspire others, but I was singing it and writing it to inspire myself as well.
I hear you. I hear you. It's like yes, if I write like a positive motivational quote on my Instagram or like yeah, wherever it might end up, yeah, there's part of it which is a little bit of self-help for myself. Just like oh, there was too many selves in a sentence. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's like, but yeah, it's a little bit of self-help. Uh, yeah, because I
Well, we're talking about the self, right? It's all about ourselves and how we show up in the world, what it is we want to create and what is in the way of that. And so that's how I help my clients is like, okay, what is it that you want to create? I wanted to create inspiring music. And then what was getting in the way of me making that happen? And so um, having the vision board is, I think, the first step. Being able to look at yourself and put in the work to shift whatever it is up here or within yourself that is keeping you from creating the money that you want or attaining the car and house and lifestyle that you want. Those are all the blocks within us that, yes, I can sing a song about maybe uncovering those or believing in yourself, but the coaching that I do with people now is really like dismantling those beliefs and giving people the tools and power to empower themselves to actually make it happen. So that's how the two I see like really work together.
Yeah, because like this is the thing, like people like, yeah, I thank you very much for the inspirational song. Thank you for like that, yeah, that bit of motivation. But yeah, like what would you say, like for someone who comes to you and goes, yeah, I heard the song, that's great. How do I put this into practical use? So I'm not gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna sing a song and everything's happy and like, yeah, it's not this Mary Poppins moment. If you get
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's a big question because it's really unique to each person. So I'd probably first ask what part, which song was it? What lyric was it that resonated with you most? And then to uncover, where are they not feeling that they embody that now? And then that's the work to dive into. So say that the song is about, let's just go on pursuing a dream, right? So believing that you can pursue your dream and you can make that your reality. And someone's like, well, I really liked it when I heard that in the song and your voice sounded pretty and it was nice to sing along to, but I don't believe that I can actually do that. I would then go deeper with that. Okay, so tell me why you don't believe that's possible for you. I mean, even that question, why do you believe it's not possible for you, is going to open a whole can of worms. And you'll start hearing, or I will start listening for, habits, patterns, limiting beliefs that have been ingrained in people I mean, all of us have them, right? And so any level that you get to, you achieve this dream, there's going to be a whole other level of limiting beliefs you have to uncover to get to the next level and the next level. So everybody has to, if you're someone on this journey of personal growth and wanting to create more for yourself and really do the work to make it happen, you're going to have to encounter some of these challenges to uncover. And my belief is that the world is just waking up. I believe that people are becoming more conscious and aware of themselves and seeking more and believing that they are made for more than the typical 9 to 5 job, the typical fast track through school, university, I believe you call it, where you live, career, retirement, and then you can enjoy, right? Although I think you guys in the UK get a lot more vacation time than we do here in the States.
I like I will not say anything to you about that, but yes, you might get somewhat annoyed. But hey, you're a business owner, so yeah, you decide when you have vacation. It's a case of you just basically more vacation time you might have, well, the less like likelihood you're going to be able to like eat and like live standard. But yeah, such is life. But yeah, I agree with you that yes, there has been a awakening over the sort of last 2 years. With I remember you mentioned this in another podcast with the sort of great resignation and basically the sort of I would say the great sort of migration. I think the problem with a number of this, there's the awakening, but there is some people just don't know or have the ability to execute or have that faith to move on to that next step, which can go, yeah, self-limiting beliefs, but it's like they don't have that guide. What would you say to them?
Ooh, okay. So I'll give them a really great way if you don't have a coach to work with.
Mm.
Um, if you don't have a coach to work with, you know where to find me. But you can do this exercise, which is really great. And anybody can do this if you have a piece of paper and something to write with. It's called a thought download. I didn't invent this, but it's essentially kind of, or some people call it a brain dump. So take a topic that that is up for you, as I'll put it. A lot of times I use it for something that I'm kind of stressed about, to figure out where I'm blocked. But if you want to take a topic like pursuing your dream or, something on your vision board, write for like 3 to 5 minutes nonstop, any thought that pops into your brain when you think about that topic. So you're just going to get it all out on the paper. You're just going to just write. And even if you start repeating, it's fine. Just don't stop writing for like 3 to 5 minutes. Set a timer. And you'll find the longer that you go, the more will come out of you that that wasn't on the surface. And once you have it all on paper, one, your brain is going to feel a lot better because it's not all just living up there, kind of taking up space, occupying energy and time and space. The other thing that it will do is you can look at that paper and really start to look at what you wrote. It's like stopping your brain in time,
Mm.
right? So once you're able to look at the thoughts that you're really having about that topic, you can start to uncover those limiting beliefs. So what you would look for on that paper is for one of the thoughts that made you go, oh, right? Or one that seems to carry a little bit more weight than another one, or like oh, I didn't really even realize that I didn't think I was good enough, or I don't know what the belief might be. That's a big one for me. A lot of people have that one: not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy. I mean, it's interesting as I work with people more and more, we all have the same shit that comes up.
Yes, but like what I'll also say is like I often think like I see it. People don't believe they're enough because it's like yeah, you're not enough. It's like right, it's a case of right, yeah, you might not be enough to like build something grand or anything like this, but you might be enough. You most probably are enough to gather up other people to form a team and then go forward. But that sort of thing is so common with so many people, and it kind of like it's kind of freaky, and I don't know where it comes from, and because the amount of times people just like I'm not enough. You are,
Yeah,
and that's the scary thing.
it's so common, but the thing that's I find that makes it not scary is that is just the fact that we have just so much in common as humans, that I believe that I believe in collective consciousness, right? So it's like we have this kind of field of energy that connects us. And so these thoughts, I mean, if you've ever tried to not think, it doesn't happen. These thoughts just are rolling around out there in the ethers, and we just pick them up and we attach to them and we believe them, and we think them again and again, and that's how a belief gets established. And so if we're able to shift, if just one person's able to shift from I'm not enough to I am enough, like what is then possible for the next person and the next person, the next person, and then I believe I'm enough now and I can show you the way and you can show them the way. It's like it just is like that ripple effect. So that's the really nice thing. If we all had different limiting beliefs, then it would probably take a lot longer for us to really, as humanity, overcome them. But back to one person at a time, your listeners. So they've done their thought download, they've established or they've identified a belief that really kind of resonates with them as like the meaty one they want to tackle first. And there might be more than one, but just pick one. And then that belief, if it's I am not enough, that becomes your work. So that becomes the area that you want to focus on, because again, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So your brain, the way that our brains work, excuse me, creating neural pathways, those neural pathways are like a deep groove. The more you think the thought, the more you think it becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. And then it just becomes your brain's default thought and belief, right? So what we want to do is override that, go against the grain, and I have my clients start looking for evidence of how they are enough, or evidence of the contrary to the belief that's so ingrained that they want to switch, that they start creating a deeper groove in that area. So it takes intention to start. And then the more you do it, the more you'll be able to default to it, which brings us back around to my music, which now what I do with my clients is I write them their own unique custom affirmation chants. So I will take a client through a process similar to this that I've just described, and I will take all their words of the empowering beliefs that they want to embody, and I will write them their own song that has all those thoughts, their words, so they can sing a little jingle when they're brushing their teeth in the morning. There's always more than enough. There's always more than enough. Magic is here right now. There's always more than enough. Right? So if you had a little song you could just sing to yourself, even if you're not believing it in the moment, but you sang it enough, what happens is then your brain just starts thinking that thought. And the more you think that thought, it'll become a belief.
I see, like like the impish part of me, like the schoolboy within, so going is going to ask that question. Have you ever had writer's block when it comes to a song for like a person. Because like, hmm.
Yeah, I excuse me. I haven't, this is something that I started last year, writing custom chants.
Yeah.
And it was again me working on my own limiting beliefs of how, I had had the thought and the vision of wanting to write custom songs for people. Well, how cool would that be to, pair my music with my coaching in such a way that I brought music into it? Because I've been coaching for 3 years. And like I said, just last year, I started bringing my music into it. So I was uncovering and working on my own limiting beliefs around how I could write a song on demand, or what it would mean for a client, what they would think of me if I sang a song, during a session.
Yeah.
But what I've found is that, one, since I started doing it, it's just become easier and easier. Two, they're super powerful for my clients and super powerful for me. So that makes it really satisfying and more motivating. Um, and it's more inspiring. I've found it's easier for me to write a song for someone else with their words already than for me to write a song for myself from my words.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, how many songs have you written from last year to today?
For clients, I would say 10.
10. Okay.
For, yeah. And then I've written a handful of my own for myself as well. Yeah, and those are all, if you want to check those out or see what any of those, because again, we all have similar limiting beliefs. So that's what has been so fun, is that I'll write a song about how there's always more than enough for my client, but then I'm like, oh, I really need this one today, or people find me and then they're like, oh, that song so resonated with what I was going through, because we all have the same crap going on up here. So I have a TikTok page now where I post on my Instagram page the little songs that I do, so people can go on there and they can listen to them, they can learn the words. I always tell people, listen to me singing it enough that you can memorize it, so that then you can take it into your day and just be singing it. You can change the words around for whatever it is that you're trying to shift and change within yourself. It makes it really fun and it actually works.
Mm. Like, you know what? I think you like, as much as yes, you're a life coach and spiritual coach. I think you might be like, yeah, sneaky in some regards. And let me explain why. Because like, okay, for in order for people to find their purpose, in order for people to like learn and grow, they have to sort of like, yeah, put themselves in a place of discomfort. You can't do it without, if you don't have the discomfort through the lessons and like the trials and tribulations, yeah, yeah,
Bingo.
you don't grow. But like, this is the thing. There you come with your smile and a kick in the heel, and like, yeah, singing your musical affirmations and everything like this. Yeah, you you're just like, I see through you, girl. I see you. I see you. It's like, yeah, there's like, yeah, the people are like, yeah, clicking fingers, and before they know it, they're going, wait a second. Oh wow, I'm in a world of hard work right now. I didn't expect this to happen. What the hell? What the hell? You tricked me, lady, and now I'm too far in.
Right. No, you hit the nail on the head. I have said this many times before. You cannot grow into the next version of yourself by staying the person that you are. And many of us, I used to think that my purpose, I wanted to discover my purpose because I thought it would make life easier. And it's completely the opposite, because your purpose is designed to grow you into that next version of yourself. And so what you're going to encounter on that journey are the challenges, the limiting beliefs, the really tightly pent up things you want to hold on to and not change. And you're going to encounter things that are going to scare you and challenge you and really push you out of your comfort zone, because that is how you're going to grow.
Yeah, like this is the thing. Like with regards to, yeah, putting people out, like like the comfort zone and moving out of it. What have you experienced this yourself, or seen other people where like, yes, the resistance is strong to go down that path? You get people what see through your like cunning magic trick, joyful cricket. And like, yeah, you are to like sort of like, oh, come here, come on, come with me.
Well, that's why having a coach is so awesome, because they see through your crap,
Mm.
right? Coaches are there to kind of hold your hand and drag you along, whether you're kicking and screaming, And but no, you're right. Like, and the resistance in my experience is super sneaky. Right. You want to talk about sneaky. It's like, oh, okay, I want to start sharing. I wanted to make a TikTok. I thought about that. What if I shared my songs on TikTok? It took me like 6 months to actually do it. And I had all the excuses. I had all the reasons why it wasn't a good idea. And guess what? I actually believed them to the point that I didn't do the work. I procrastinated. I just put it off. And even as a coach, that's why I have my own coach. We do it to ourselves, right? And so it's super sneaky, because your brain is going to want to keep you safe. That's its job. And so whenever you're going to push yourself outside your comfort zone, it's going to give you all the reasons, and you're going to believe them as to why it's not a good idea.
Absolutely. Now, I think like another thing people also suffer from is analysis by paralysis. Like they get so caught up in what they want to do, and even if it's like, okay, right, you could write down the upside of things and the downside of things, and it could be also much more upside. And it's like, okay, which way do I go? Do I go left? Do I go right? That's right. If I go forward, if I go back, if I go this way and this and that, oh, where am I going to find the time? I don't think I have the time. Maybe I've got the time. I was like going right. And by the time you've had this sort of conversation with yourself, and like, yes, believe you me, it like time does a funny thing. It either like you like go, oh, what happened to the day? Or you like blink again and you go, oh, wait, what happened to the last 3 months? Oh, it's like, so like, yeah. How have you like managed to overcome like this analysis by paralysis, even though like it slowed you down on TikTok, but yeah, how did you overcome that? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That is definitely something I identify as a recovering perfectionist. And so many of us are. So I would put that in the same category as the analysis paralysis. It's like I can want to make something look so perfect that I will waste so much time doing, trying to get it all right on my graphics or whatever, on social media, that I'm actually just taking away time that I could be posting that and posting the next thing, right? I mean, we know how fleeting, if you've ever been on TikTok, it's like 5 seconds is like the attention span for someone on there. It's like, why am I spending 2 hours to create a video that somebody is gonna just like swipe up, and it's, right? And even if they did like my video, then they're like, okay, what's next?
Mm.
Right? Let's see the next kind of, dish out that content, got to keep it going. And so I love the phrase, I didn't coin this, done is better than perfect. And so the more that we can just make decisions quickly, this is something, again, I say as a coach, I help my clients make decisions. It's one of the main things that I do. So I have them on a call. If they're like, have that analysis paralysis, I'm like, all right, let's decide. Let's do it by the end of this call. Because once you make a decision, you start acting on it, that's when you get feedback. That's when you get information. That's when you can change things and shift things and make it better. You're not making anything better by making this one thing perfect. The only thing we make better is by trial and error.
Yeah.
And so you can't find the error if you don't do the trial, right?
No, absolutely, I agree. And like, there was this story which it's either being used for pots or used for photos. Like, yeah, a lecturer gets the class and he splits them into two. One half of the class, he goes, yes, I'm going to assess your marks on one picture you're going to take. And the other half, I'm like, yeah, take as many pictures as possible. And yes, if you like, I'm not too sure if there was a threshold, but if you do all of these pictures, yes, you can get an A. And I basically 3 months, 4 months go by, and then the class come back. The group which had to take that one picture, their work was rubbish. But the other group, which basically had to take as many pictures as possible, they had the best work and they got the top marks because yes, they were out there. It wasn't a case of they were practicing, they were practitioners of whatever art or craft they were doing. And I think a number of people get caught up with the perfection. It's like, look, if we were waiting for the most perfect moment, say Henry Ford, right? Ford Motor Company, right? If we were waiting for the perfect car right now, you know what? We'll be on a horse and buggy still until this day. It's like, it's not, you can't. And perfection is, I would say, it's the ally to procrastination. And yeah, and it is the enemy of progress.
I love that. That is great. Yeah. And so the more that you put yourself out there and start testing things, that's when you're going to get information back from your audience or the outside world, whatever it is that you're doing, and from yourself, because you'll figure out, like, oh, actually, I don't want to say my worst critic, but maybe my best critic. I know when I write a song or when I do a post or I do something, if I am in love with it, that is my measure of success for myself, because outside external measures of success are not, that's not useful for me, right? All I can do is know that if I like it, I can trust that someone else will like it. I'm the artist. I'm not trying to please other people. I'm trying to please myself. And so the more that you can try things, test things out, put it out there, the more you will grow as a person, as an artist, as a business person, whatever your passion is that you're putting out in the world, your gift, the more you'll grow into embodying that gift. And people will then begin to look to you as an expert because you put in the time, you've put in the trials, you've put in the photographs and your beautiful story you told.
Hey, look, put it this way, I've stolen that story from other people, but that's another story. That no, I'm not going to put another story into the story, and that's no. But yeah, like with all of this, and like, you know what I mean, with people like analysis of paralysis, like, yes, with not being like seeking out their best selves, like what sort of like made you sort of like, okay, kick really into gear? Like, because look, it's one thing to be a like singer songwriter, it's one thing to be a life coach, spiritual coach, but to sort of like, okay, I'm going to be my own business owner. That is like a sort of another grand leap, if you say what, like, because it's one thing, songwriting is completely different to like, it's similar, but it's different to being a business owner. So what made you do that?
Well, that wasn't the part I planned. That was just kind of, I I spent years not knowing what I wanted to be when I grew up. And so I worked in restaurants, I bartended, I went to cosmetology school, I did hair, and then I found life coaching, and music was always happening in the background with that. But it wasn't something, I wasn't ready to like quit my job and hit the road to do music. It just wasn't, that's just not, that wasn't in me. Again, those limiting beliefs. But coaching, when I found coaching, I was like, aha, this could be the profession I've been searching for, because it aligns with so many of my passions and things that I already love doing: personal growth, seeking, like working on myself. That's all stuff that the more I do that, the better coach I become and the more I can help other people. And so once I saw that that was actually a possibility as a profession, I was in. I was like, this is it. I'm going for it. It wasn't until later that I was like, oh crap, I have to be an entrepreneur. Like, that was never, I'm a creative, right? So I'm always just like, I'm not that organized. Like, I'm very, I was actually just putting my taxes together this morning and like putting all that together. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to show the tax person because this is just like such a mess. But that is that growing edge, right? It's like, I've heard other creatives say they can do this too, so why can't I? So I believe it's possible, but it's something I'm growing into for sure.
Yeah, because like that's one of the things I was curious about, because yes, you are a creative. And yes, like okay, no, creatives are great at many a thing, but like it's not a case of you're bad. Like they tend to be bad at business. It's just a case of yeah, yeah, flights of fancy and doing things which like most really drive your accountant a little bit crazy because you
Right.
your own unique way. It's like
Yeah. Well, and that's why too, like I love to outsource. right? So notice I said I wasn't doing my own taxes. It's like I love to use other people's genius and be able to diversify, my work with others. And so for one project, I did a virtual summit. I hired a virtual assistant, and she took my mess. I had everything written on a paper. My whole to-do list was just like this mess, and I handed it to her, and she made it in this really pretty like to-do list and a whole website like calendar app, and it made it really doable, and it was like so worth. I probably paid her $200-300, and it was like worth every penny. And so if your listeners or somebody is watching this that is a creative, or there's just some area that they don't feel like is their area of genius, but it's still on the path of their purpose or their passions that they want to create, don't fret. It's all right. You can outsource it. You can collaborate. You can ask for help. I mean, there's people who just people want to be helpful. And so anytime someone's in a jam, or anytime I'm in a jam with something like that, like I look at the community around me and see like, okay, how can I not do this alone?
Yeah.
Because we're not designed to do it alone. We're humans.
Yeah.
We're in this together.
Absolutely, because like this is the thing. I think with a lot of new business startup people out there, okay, it's a case of yes, I must do it all by myself. I must carry all of this weight and water by myself, and they do not sort of employ the sort of different tools which are out there to help them along the way. Maybe it's down to okay, they don't believe that person can do the work, or they don't have the resources at this precise moment in time. But it's a case of we all get 24 hours in one day. And yes, some people use that 24 hours more effectively than others. But if I went, yes, got compared someone like got Oprah Winfrey and I got another person and compared the two of them, I'll go, okay, now the difference between this lady is Oprah Winfrey has a staff of X amount of hundreds of people who then connect with this and then with that. So she doesn't have 24 hours a day. She has 24 hours multiplied by the number of people who are actually helping her with this project or that project and this project. Whereas that person is that person by themselves. Ah, so like when you first like took someone on, how did you find the like you said you got people to help you? Was it just us like exchanging favors, or did you like okay, I've got two farthings right now. Okay, I'll give you these right now. I promise I'll give you some more later, but not right now.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was more trades,
Hmm.
right? So bartering, I'll do your hair for a logo design, or give you some coaching sessions, and you can give me some, time for accounting or whatever it is. And yeah, doing it that way, like really, if you go, like found a lot of people that I've collaborated with in Facebook groups. So I found entrepreneurial groups where you kind of strike up a conversation, start creating a community, and then you're like, oh, we kind of have similar target markets we're working towards. Like, hey, how about we do a collaboration? And then all of a sudden, you've made a friend and a buddy that I can call on if I need assistance with something, and vice versa. So it's really like creating a network, no matter what your passion or purpose is, creating a network where you can collaborate and help people out. And so that's being of service, as well as accepting, I'm trying to think the opposite of that, being of service as well as serving others, right? And I guess that's the same thing, but you know what I'm saying. It's reciprocal, right? So it's the give and take. So the more you're going to help others, the more they're going to want to help you.
Like basically being of service rather than being, say, selfish and like self-centered.
Yeah, I think, yeah, when you're starting a business and you're being self-centered, you are limiting yourself to, you can't start a business being 100% self-centered, because you need people to buy whatever you're selling. And so you need people regardless of what it is that you're trying to create. I guess, yeah, like if you're creating a podcast, you have to have listeners, right? Wouldn't have to have a guest necessarily, but you have to have somebody to participate in it with you. Otherwise, it wouldn't be successful.
Absolutely. But like this is the whole thing. I think this is a number of things where people miss the whole point of things. Okay, you look at the most successful companies out there. It's not about them. It is about them in some regards, but it's not just that is it. If it was just about them just self-serving themselves, no one would actually buy anything from them. You provide a service, and like, yes, if that service is better than the next competitor, then people come to you. And if you've built real good ties and bonds, more people come to you. It's like, yeah, people like don't buy sort of computers like an Apple Mac computer for just like, yes, it looks pretty. Well, some people do because yeah, it's like they've got more money than sense. That's another story. But yeah, but it helps them. It provides a service. It's like, yes, you can do multiple things with it, and you can take things forward from that. And when people get caught up and go, yeah, it's about me, and they go, I don't understand why I'm not being successful. It's like you are going, yeah, because it's being too much about you and not about the greater community where you're meant to provide that service to like basically be a servant to others. And that's what I think a lot of true businesses should be about. I might be speaking out of my hat for most people, but yeah.
No, I think that's the new paradigm that we're shifting into is it is more about what value you can offer the world, your community, your audience, as opposed to what you can get from them because people don't resonate with that, right? People can just like smell that on you and they're just like, yeah, there's just something about them I just don't like. But this person over here who's like, wow, it's like they talk to me and it's like they're shining a light on me and they really get me. Like I'm getting so much value out of this. That's where we're attracted to. Not, I'm so great over here. Oh, look what I have. You could have it too if you just listen to me. Like that's not how, I mean, a lot of coaches, that's how they approach their marketing. And it's like so off-putting.
Yeah. But like this is the thing, like this like when I look at the world of online coaching, and trust me, like you watch a YouTube video, like yes, they shall magically appear offering this and that. It must be kind of like it must be kind of a very hard world to exist in because there are so many sort of charlatans out there, like peddling their wares. How can I say? Um, I think NFT is going to be the new sort of snake oil at this present time. Just trying to get that little bit ahead. Like it must be very difficult sometimes to like, oh, I'm not that person. This is who I am. How have you like found trying to like put your identity out there? How easy or difficult has that been?
So that's interesting. It so the first answer your question, I keep my eyes on my own paper, right? So I'm like, I'm not worried about what other people are doing. I'm just, again, making sure it feels in alignment with me. And when I first started my business, I was not doing that. I was definitely trying to, because again, I'm a creative. I'm not a business. I mean, I am a businesswoman now, but when I had an idea of like what a businesswoman was, that was not me. And so I thought I needed to create that. So when I took photos, when I created my branding colors and my website and everything, it was like I was trying to replicate some image of what I thought people would find professional,
Yeah.
right? I thought if I came with, I mean, I have purple hair, so I wasn't changing that. But if I thought if my logo was like super bright and and I used joyful language, whatever, like it wouldn't seem professional. Like it had to be very serious. I thought it had to be very serious in order for people to take me seriously. And what I discovered over time was that the opposite is true. People don't resonate with like who I think that they want. They want me,
Yeah.
right? So the more that I became more authentic in my marketing, in my branding, just when I speak to people, when I stopped kind of caring a lot about what other people thought and just being true to myself, that's when my whole business changed and shifted. And so I think again, keeping your your focus just really on what is in alignment with you and not worrying about what all the other people are doing. Because actually, I don't really get caught up in the charlatans because I'm not even paying attention.
Mm, yeah, no, like this is the thing. Yeah, when you say authentic, yeah, authenticity is a very difficult. It's it's it sounds strange when I say it's a very difficult thing to achieve. It's because yeah, it's easy to like, oh wait, it sort of circles back to am I enough? Uh, like in the beginning when we spoke about this earlier, like so connecting with that and go, yes, this is who I am authentically. This is who like warts and all. This is who I am. And if you don't like it, by all means, I might not be your cup of tea. I might not like look. My purple hair might not be your thing. You might want someone who's a little bit more, oh, like straight lace and corporate, whatever that means. It's like yeah, uh, but if you want someone who's being genuine, who if you want someone who wants to help, if you want someone who will like yeah, like see things in a slightly different way, maybe than you might see it, then this is who I am, and this is how like, and this is me, joyful cricket, boom, you know.
Yeah, completely. Because when we're, yeah, I love how you brought it back to, it comes back to us feeling like we are enough.
Yeah,
And the thing is that if you remember, everybody has somewhere in them a feeling of, or at some point, that maybe they're not enough. And so when you are able to show up authentically, when you're able to be genuine, that is what resonates with people. And your unique type of, I hate saying tribe, but it keeps coming, my brain keeps going back to that. But your circle of influence will attract people who are attracted to your unique vibe,
mm,
right? And so when I was trying to look like the corporate cricket, I was attracting not the right people. I attracted people I didn't even want to work with. I didn't even resonate with them because they were um, like what they were attracted to was false,
yeah.
right? And then I had to keep up some charade that I was corporate cricket, and that's not sustainable.
Uh, you know what? I can see a child like children's book coming out of this corporate. Yeah, it's like the Adventures of Corporate Cricket. Ah,
Well, what about you? So you are so vibrant, and you're clearly not um, trying to. Not I find you very impressive, but you clearly it seems that you are not trying to put on airs to impress anybody or be your inauthentic self. How has that been for you?
like this is the thing. It's one of those. It's it's a path of discovery. I found like which has taken a number of years because like the whole thing is look when like when we're at our most cocky. Like yes, oh the teenage years, early 20s, and like yeah, we don't know shit. It's like you know what I mean. And if anyone goes, yeah, I knew who I was, like yeah, when I was in my teens, I'll be like going, you're a liar. It's like going, no, and like yeah, like, I know who I was when I was in my 20s. I'm like, yeah, who are you kidding? You're a bit of a fool. And like yeah, over the sort of course of time, like I don't know, trials, tribulations, like you know what I mean, times when I would be like honestly would not really sort of take a good look at myself. Like because hey, I might like yes, things might not have gone my way and I'm the person to blame, but I'm not taking on that because it's not me, it's the rest of the world and everyone's got a problem. Like if that happens once, I might be right. If that happens twice, I might be right. If it happens 3 times or multiple times, it's like you go, okay, in this equation, like, yeah, the people have changed all around you, but you are the one constant. So, if this keeps happening to you, maybe it's not the rest of the world who's the problem. Maybe it's you. And like being able to like go, okay, yes, I have to take on responsibility for X, Y, and Z. Um, it's not an easy task to do. And if anyone goes, it is, no. It's a case of you can run, you can hide, but at the end of the day, the spotlight of responsibility will find you at some point. You either stand in it and like, yeah, welcome yourself into the light, or you cower away and yeah, you remain small and undeveloped. And like, I'm trying to be more developed. I'm trying to grow because look, I've said this to many, like many guests, like, yeah, in your 20, like in your like teens, you like go, we're going out, and like it's like, yeah, who's with me? And it's like, we are Legion. Oh, and you all go out, yeah. In your in your 20s, it's like, yeah, early 20s, we are Legion. Late 20s, like, we are Legion. Oh, okay, there's less people here. I'm not like, okay. Like your 30s, it's like, we are Legion. Like, hey, I'm in my 40s. It's like, we are Legion. It's like, no, no.
You're on your own.
We're a small crack unit because, like, yeah, over the course of time, life carries on. People get married. People move on. They move away, and like, yes, they like shuffle off this mortal coil. Like, yeah, groups get smaller, and like, this is the thing. One of the reasons why I mainly started this podcast is you don't like. I was not having those sort of conversations where I would go out, like, yes, like maybe slightly inebriated, but I won't go. Don't judge me, cricket. Don't judge me. Like, yeah, having some like wacky conversations with weird and strange people I might meet on the night and stuff like this. Those conversations were becoming less and less and becoming a little bit more set in your ways, as they say. As you get older, you come set in your ways. No, it's a case of as you get older, you tend to talk to less and less people because
Mm.
those groups have become smaller, and that sort of going out and interacting with people, there's less opportunities. Like, okay, tell a parent of two kids, okay, yeah, we're going out tomorrow. Like, okay, like you see the gears turning because then like the logistics start. I need to find a babysitter. I need someone to do this, do that, do this. By the time it comes out down to it, it's like, nah, I can't do it. I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I remember when one of my boys, like his first, like, yeah, like he was like, yeah, had his first kid. This was years ago. He's had his first kid. It's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we're going out. We're gonna go out. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh right, ready. Yeah, you're gonna go out Saturday night. Yeah, I'm gonna drink, have a good time. The kids will be taken care of. Yeah, Saturday came. Him and his missus, they stayed in and they slept.
Right. So it sounds like, yeah, as you get old, what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is that as we get older, we start to shed away like the fluff of our community, right? And people get distracted, they do their own thing. So everywhere you go, there you are, you're left with yourself.
Yep.
And so it sounds like you created this podcast to create more conversations with people so you could hear different perspectives and continue that growth for yourself.
Absolutely. And like, yeah, from that, here we go. Like, I would simply ask you, Cricket, like, okay, like if I said, yeah, organize a group of 10 to 15 people to go out with you, say this Saturday or the Saturday after, would you be able to do it?
Probably not. Now, could I invite 10 to 15 people? Yes. Could I actually get all of them to show up and come? No.
And like, put it this way, if like, look, earlier in your life, I bet you could get that. You could throw a party at a drop of a hat. It's Tuesday night. Who's with me? Ah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, what I'm so excited about, because I'm approaching 40, I'm 37,
Nonsense.
and I am excited because I feel like the older I get, like I've talked to so many people that have really found their people,
Yeah.
their community of close knit friends in their 40s and beyond. And so I'm excited about that because I feel like I am really stepping into who I am finally. And I hear people in their 40s say that the 40 was when they stopped caring as much what other people thought. And so I'm so excited for that. I'm just like, I can see it myself, like starting to shed that, superficialness of
Mm.
myself a little bit. But I'm like, I'm ready to just be myself fully. And as I attract clients to be myself as I am myself fully, I also look forward to attracting more friendships and close connections with people, because I can't find my people if I'm not being who I am.
Like this is the thing, you'll never find your people if you're not out there and being open to like possibly receive like new people into like your circle of life and like you know what I mean. Like yeah, I think a number of times people get caught up with how long they've known someone. I've known this person for 20 years and blah 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 blah. It's like okay, great. But when you first met that person, yeah, you it was like day one and you had no idea if it was going to be that day or like the next 10 years. And like, look, people, as I say, can move away. Like, people can like shuffle off this call, or yeah, you just have no connection to that person anymore because you like think, wait, you guys are complete strangers. But you lose people doesn't mean you can't take more people on. So you know what I mean. So
No,
you
I've even had that recently where I've had two specific friendships that have just dissolved. And
mm,
it wasn't necessarily pretty, but they were both friendships that one I met in high school. And so, although we had a bond and closeness and things in common, it just kind of seemed more out of obligation than it did, you know,
mm,
truly us really seeing eye to eye on a lot of things. And the other one was a coworker. So we met, at a salon that I worked at. And so it was like a friendship of convenience,
yeah.
right? And then we kind of got in that, and then it was just, it wasn't really serving either of us. It was almost like a friendship by default.
Uh,
And so that is my vision now, is to attract people that I actually am really excited to be around, and who I don't have to try to be something I'm not because they knew me from when I was 14 years old, or because they knew me in an earlier version of myself.
mm, yeah, and like this is the thing, like how there's often like yes, the friendships which like grow from when you are trying to grow and develop to be this new person, to be that better self. They're like going, yeah, I liked you the way you were. Like,
And that's because they get to stay who they are.
mm,
Right? So I have other friends who are like, I'm all about this new version of you, and I want a new version of me too, and let's do this together.
yeah,
And the friendships that I was just speaking about that have dissolved, they weren't really interested in that. And me growing into my next version of myself, I was just a mirror for them to show them how their lifestyle, wasn't really acceptable to me for my life. And so it puts up a mirror for them to be like, well, should I, like, is this okay for me? Like, it's interesting. People want you to stay the same so they can feel comfortable.
yeah. But like this is the whole thing. Even if someone hasn't like quote unquote changed, people change regardless. You can't look. It's one of those things where you like the march of time, everything like this. You are changing, and like you know, like one of the things you like go, no, I'm not. I haven't changed since that. Okay, yeah, you've got a little bit older family or anything like that. Yes, you've changed in some way. If you like, yeah, basically had a great relationship or a bad relationship, yeah, you've changed somewhat down the line. The person you were when you were like, yeah, like 16 compared to the person you were at 26 is completely different. You might like go, yeah, yeah. Person you were at 26, person you were at 36, completely different. And like, good God, there's a quantum leap from when you were like, yeah, like 36 to 16 is like going, okay. It's like, right. Stuff and experiences you've most probably had from that teenage was like, yeah, where you most probably just talked about it and like, going, I don't know what I'll be like. It was like going, yeah, and like, you're like, yeah. Uh, you like look back and go, I had some wild times. I will not, I kid you not. But you've changed and you can't, like, no one can say I'll never change. And like, if someone goes, I'll never change, and they try to like be that rock evermore, like, yeah, time is like water. Eventually, it'll erode you away, and yeah, you'll be gone. You can't do it. It's impossible. And it's a sad thing for the person who's like, I do not want to change. that, that means you do not want to grow. That means you do not want to develop, you know?
No, exactly. And the only time we're not changing is when we're dying or dead. I mean, even when we are literally dying, we are changing into decaying. But, growth is life. And so, but I think people, again, the thought that I can't change is just one of those limiting beliefs that if the person is willing to look at it, they could maybe shift that or move that needle. But it does take work and it does take effort. And but it's interesting. It's like, do you want it the effort and the work that you are intending and you are choosing? Or do you want life to just take over and choose for you? Because that's what's happened in my experience.
But this goes back to responsibility. Okay, like what I said earlier. Like when you're not prepared to step into the light and take that responsibility, yeah, you're not controlling the change what happens. Like change will happen to you and it will take you to a place where I don't know any look, it's very rare you have someone who's ultra successful by just sitting on their backside and not hardly doing any work. You know what I mean? Like it's very rare. But when someone takes responsibility, I want to go here and I want to do this and I make this happen. Like yeah, build like set some building blocks. All of a sudden, that's when things develop. That's when things grow. That's when I think they find much more a richness, a fullness of life, rather than yeah, I'm just going with
Well, no, I think you've hit the nail on the head because working towards those goals, working towards that success that they dream about, just taking the action of working towards it, even if it's scary, even if it's challenging, even if it pushes you out of your comfort zone, you feel alive. And that's what brings meaning, right? So I find this paradox of life purpose where it's achieving something here, but then feeling alive and on purpose on the road to get there at the same time, which I think is what you're describing. It's like you you are working towards something which allows you to feel like you're willing to change or changing on purpose, taking that personal responsibility to do so, but just taking that effort and setting that intention, you're there, you've got it already.
like there's a lot of work what needs to still be done. And like the day when I go, yeah, I don't need to work on myself. Like, yeah, that's the day when like, yes, I shall be taking the last like breath in my body and just like, yeah, just like, and like, yeah, hopefully do a Yoda thing where I'll just like disappear and like, yeah, but that's another story. Yeah, but, yeah, but yeah, still got a lot to learn. And yeah, the day I like dare to be that arrogant to say I know it all, good God, that would be a fucking sorry state of affairs. I'll say that for a fact. You know? Uh,
Well, like, yeah, like I think I said at the beginning, like as soon as you get to that next level of yourself, there's going to be new challenges. There's going to be more to uncover and more to overcome. And that's what we signed on for. That's what we're here for.
yeah, indeed, indeed. I'm curious, like with regards to yourself and your business, what direction do you want your journey to go in?
Well, I just look forward to serving more people, being able to share my music with more people that it can have an effect on, a positive effect on. I look forward to releasing a chance album specifically with my songs on it. And I haven't shared this anywhere, but I've been having a vision recently of what would it be like if I had like an animated movie with my songs, because some of them sound pretty like Disney-ish in my head. And so I've thought, oh, how cool would it be to create a whole story about a character who was trying to achieve their dreams? And throughout the story, my songs were put in there, these chants that I've been writing for people. What if those were interlaced throughout there and then it was like a whole movie for kids or something? I mean, I would watch it too, but I imagine how awesome would it be to be able to write a children's story or to have like an animated movie for kids where they could start to instill some of these beliefs when they're young. So I have a 4.5-year-old son, and he he sings my songs. I have a song, Anything's Possible, and I'll hear him, Anything's Possible. He's singing, and I'm just like, yes, that's like creating those neural pathways in his brain so that when he's, in his 40s, he hopefully isn't going to encounter as many. I'm sure he'll have just a whole other slew of challenges to overcome, but at least I envision what is the effect that will have on his brain by being able to make that more of what his brain is telling him automatically.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think you should do it. Like, yeah, if you can, like, get a little animation team together and, like, yeah, like, don't have to put it on Disney or anything. Put it up on YouTube and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, no, I just meant like, Disney movies are so like the cliche, like musical animation. So that's why I said that. Yeah.
Oh no, Disney's not cliche. Oh, it's like what? No, try like name one. Like, there's only a couple of Disney films which is like joyful and happy, but most of the time, no. Dark.
That's true. And actually, I am much more of a Pixar fan, although Disney owns them now. But anyhow.
Yeah, no, I would simply say, yeah, put that up on YouTube, like, because they God, when it like if a kid loves a track, like they'll just play it again, again, again. Look, come on, I look, you must really are like some poor victim or veteran of Baby Shark, God knows what. Like, hey, Max, like, look, yeah, my friend, he was it PJ Max or something like that. Yeah, I did a Christmas competition. Like, who's this character? I looked at him because I don't have kids. I don't have kids yet. One day, but like, yeah, I looked at him was like, going, how on earth am I meant to know who that is? Like, every parent's like, just writing down the name like through some sort of like PTSD sort of trauma. Once again, it's like, I hate that character. Kill. But yeah, God to say it. Do it. Do it. No,
Okay. Yes. So you heard it here first, folks.
I'm yeah, I look forward to that because hey, that'd be great. So yeah, animation possibly in one of like this like strings to your bow you might add. Love it.
Right. And you know what? That is something I will outsource and get someone else to create for me. I'm not going to try to micromanage that because that is not where my realm of genius is. So bringing that back around to, creating your network and your community of people that you can draw on to help you create the cool shit in the world that you want.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Ah, what is the time? Oh, we got a little bit more time. Like I like yeah, there's a whole heap of spin-offs what come to mind now, but I'm not gonna go down that route. But I've got to ask now, being like being the joyful cricket that you are, now what was one of the things what brought you joy or gratitude for your sort of like day-to-day life recently?
Oh my gosh. My son, for sure. Most recently, where I live, I separated from my husband in June, and I ended up landing this amazing house on an apple orchard, and it's incredible. So, those are probably two things that I'm super grateful right now. And I actually gratitude is one of my kind of daily practices I do. So, I mean, I get down to the minutia of the food that I'm eating, the breath that I'm taking, just the really simple things. My comfortable bed, my car. I mean, there's the superficial stuff, but then there's just, I mean, like I said, the love that my son and I have. I showered him with Valentine's Day card this morning, and he gave me like 10 hugs before I left, dropping him off for school. So it was just like those things are just, I'm so about it. But also, whenever I write a song, there is like no feeling in the world as that. So every song that I've ever written, I am just so grateful for because I have struggled a lot with having my songwriting be really few and far between. Maybe I write a song in a year or something. And so now that I'm writing maybe two a month or so, it's like it's such a gift.
Yeah, no, like this is the thing. I find like it's sometimes hard for people to be in tune with that side themselves because, like, yes, so often they get caught up with like the minutiae of their life and go, yes, woe is me. Life is so terrible. It's like, and like you go, it could be worse. You know, oh, they're how, like, yeah, you're standing there, you're walking around. Yep, you couldn't, like, you might lose the use of one side of your body. Oh, you know, yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, or even just catching a cold. Have you ever experienced like being sick with just a cold and just feeling like, oh, I can't even remember what it was like to not be congested and feeling like crap. Am I ever going to be the same again? It's like just like you said, just being standing up, walking. And I always think too, like wherever I'm experiencing, there's somebody else that wants what I have, right? There's someone else who's trying to, their goal is working to whatever it is that I have,
Yeah.
right? And so just feeling appreciation for whatever, wherever you are, for what you have, because you have survived every hard day that you've had. And I know that's true because someone is listening to this or watching this. And so I absolutely know that that's true.
We all sit in positions of privilege, but sometimes we're not aware of it, if you get what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
uh, now, if there was one thing you could do tomorrow, like out of the whole realm of possibilities, what would that one thing be?
Ooh, what would that one thing be? Oh my gosh. It's funny, my brain is going to all these things that I do all the time. Um, go to Burning Man.
Interesting. Hmm, why Burning Man? Joyful cricket. Why Burning Man? Like,
Well, I have been 5 times,
uh-huh.
but I haven't been since 2014, and I haven't been since having a child. And so so it's always been like that fantasy vacation, that fantasy experience that I always think like, oh, wish I could go this year. Or wish, I love dressing up in costume. I love being silly. It's one place where being ridiculous is celebrated, right? So going back to being a creative and being like outside of social norms, like that is the place where it's like overstimulating with inspiration, creative people, creative ideas, experiences that are like nowhere else on earth. So yeah, I think if I could do anything tomorrow, I'd go to Burning Man. I'd have like an awesome camp with AC, and I'd have like all the most amazing costumes and like the best bike to ride around ever with like my favorite 10 or 15 people you can come. And and I've actually thought I'd love to put on like a sing song workshop at Burning Man and be able to like get people together where I could do some of my coaching, some of my music. People put on events there and classes and things. And so it'd be super awesome to share my message there too.
How long does Burning Man last for? Like
It's a week.
a week?
Yeah. I've been for 7 days, but my sweet spot's more like 5 because I mean, I'm not out there with the shower. I've got the baby wipes, You make one with the playa dust.
Okay. Now, I would like to set you a challenge. Now,
Okay.
it is the year 2022. By 2025, 5 days, Burning Man, you doing everything you just said, make it happen. Like, like by 2025, gives you 3 years. Look, yes, arrange childcare, do what you want, bring the little guy with you. Yeah, but yeah, Burning Man. Look, yes, I did express. I felt you had a wild side to you when you were growing up. Say no more. Yes, yeah, yeah. I sense these things.
I
Yes.
am up for that challenge. I love that challenge.
Hey, I'm gonna hold you to that. And
All right.
yeah,
Would you care to join me? I mean, it would be worth the trip.
you know what? I see. You know what? If you build it, I shall come. It's like, yes. Like, they filled your dreams for you. But yeah,
We'll record the podcast from Burning Man. It'll be amazing.
yes, like I'm not going to go anywhere near ayahuasca or anything like that. But that's another story.
That is fine. That is fine. Me too. No.
Wander around the desert. Oh. Like state trooper coming on, God. We got another one. Get in the back of the car. Okay. Get some water. Shut up.
Right. Medic.
Trying to drink like, oh. Yeah, just like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know ayahuasca. That is definitely hashtag trending, right?
Yeah, like, you know what? It's been, how can I put it? It's been sort of low-key trend, I would say, for about 5-6 years ago. Now it's become sort of mainstream trend. And like, you know what I mean? You hear everyone like, oh, take ayahuasca and like stuff like this. I don't think it's really sort of made it over here in the UK, because I don't think we've got as many like access to many like shaman or like shay women. I don't know what, like, yeah. But the people who would actually perform the ceremony, plus with the last 2 years, I think that's most probably put more of a kibosh on it, if you get what I mean. But maybe in the next 3 years, I think it's going to make its way over here as the world is opening up slowly and steadily. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Like,
interesting.
fingers crossed, no other variants out there.
Right.
I am Toga. What? It's like, isn't that a Greek name? I am the new variant. Oh, good grief. It's like, go away, Toga. Don't need this.
Maybe ayahuasca will be the new variant.
Well, I'm not too sure what that's going to be a variant to. It's like a new plane of thinking. Oh,
I'm here for it. Yep.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to, sorry to say, but we're going to have to call this, bring this to a close. But yeah, can you let the lovely people know how they can find you out there on these interwebs?
Yes, please come find me. You can go to my website, joyfulpurposecoaching.com, and you will find all of my social links there. And you can also go on there and book a free 50-minute clarity call where I can talk to you about your dreams, what's in the way, and what is going to make them happen.
Superb, superb. Cricket, I have to say thank you for coming on today. You have been superb. You have been brilliant. Fantastic, let me say. Yeah.
Thank you. This was a blast. I had so much fun.
Glad you had so much fun. Yes. And I got to say thank you to you, my friends, my life warriors out there, for sticking with us for up until the end. Please stay safe, stay well, be awesome, be excellent, be fantastic. Be all the positive bees you can be in this world, and then some. Have a great day, guys. Yes, peace and love to y'all. Peace. And we are...